All right. I don't know, making sure I got everything good. See, Megan's still working, so my little podcast office. Instead, I'm back in the closet again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even gonna do it. Closet jokes, no.
Do it, Troy. Pull the fucking trigger, you fucking.
That's where you're used to being. You haven't come out. I don't know. Whatever. Fill in the blanks.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to episode 32 of the Nothing to Play podcast, a mediocre podcast about video games, movies, and the ever-longing collapse of our government. As always, it's your boy, Just-in-Time Carter. First episode of 2021. Thank you for joining us, and this week I have with me my special boy, Troy.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad to always be here to support Bitcoin, WandaVision, and I don't know, closet jokes.
As per usual, nothing new there.
Yeah. Yeah, new year, same me.
Have you been doing good?
Yeah. Well, no. No. Well, I feel like it's been 1 month so far of 2021, and I already feel like we're crossing the threshold of being worse than the entire last year.
Dude, isn't that wild? Like, the first month of 2021 is almost over, and out of everything that has happened so far in 2021, WandaVision is the least weird fucking thing that has happened this year.
Oh my god, yeah, I am like a child. I don't know what it is, but like every Thursday, I'm excited. I stay up late. I watch it at midnight every Thursday. I feel like shit the following day, but I love WandaVision.
Dude, so sound the alarms. We're going to be talking spoilers about WandaVision. If you do not want the first 1 through 4 episodes of WandaVision spoiled, you need to pause this podcast, take Jimmy Jr., put him in the fucking garage, open up Disney Plus on your phone, watch episodes 1 through 4. You can then take Jimmy Jr. back out of the garage and then press play again on the podcast, because there will be spoilers, and I will not be held responsible if you get upset.
I thought you were going like really dark with that joke, and you were gonna say take your child into the garage, start the engine, leave, roll down the windows.
No, I wasn't gonna go that bad.
But yeah, so spoilers, Lucy Iwater's in the last episode.
Yeah, if you would like anything else ruined for you, you can go back a couple episodes, go to the YouTube channel for the Nothing to Play podcast, watch the Star Wars episode. It's in the thumbnail. Enjoy.
That was a fun one. I like doing that. Whenever we decide to do another one, I'm down.
Right? I was like, Tanner got so upset about that.
About what? Oh, the Lucy Iwater thing? Or?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. He was just like, I think I'll just put it in the fucking thumbnail while you're at it.
Oh, well, what else do you expect from Whale Man? But, yeah, no, WandaVision was, so the 4th episode, you said you watched it, right?
Yep, I just literally ate dinner and watched it before hopping on here because I knew you've seen it. Yeah. So I figured might as well talk about it.
Yeah, no, so my fiance Stephanie, she's not like a huge comic book nerd like I am. But I made her read House of M before WandaVision was a thing. I was like, hey, like you gotta read this one. And she loves the movies. And we were going into this, and I was like, this is gonna be really weird, and I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna have something to do with the House of M. And then you watch the first 3 episodes, and we talked about it when I think after episode 3, like, no one knows what the hell's going on. It could be aliens. It could be some sort of space prison. It could be, I think I heard 7 different types of theories. But then after the 4th episode, you're like, oh, this is House of M. Like, Wanda's the bad guy. Reality's all fucked up. Like I don't know what's going on with Vision. I think he's a walking corpse or something. But I thought that last episode was amazing.
Dude, yeah, I honestly did think the last episode was one of the best episodes. And I almost, after that last episode where you see Vision dead, I was kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of thinking he's probably dead.
Yeah, I thought maybe for a while there were all these theories about Mephisto's gonna be in there, and I guess one of the characters is really, I don't know. There's some nerds that like go and dissect every single detail and try to find things, but yeah. So I thought maybe all right, she has resurrected Vision or something, but no, I'm pretty sure he's just a walking corpse and he's not real and everything's an illusion.
Well, see, because that's what's weird is, so, because in episode 3, initially I thought everything was going to be an illusion and stuff, that everything wasn't going to be real. And then in episode 3, launching the chick from Sword out of her Wanda show
Yeah,
back
yeah.
into reality showed me that, like, the people, I think all the people are real besides maybe Vision.
Yeah.
But, and like, they kind of, and in this last episode they kind of reconfirmed that, like, this, like, town is effectively real. Wanda's just kind of sealed it off. But it was, what the thing I really liked too was, I thought it was really cool in the last episode, getting to kind of see the aftermath of everybody coming back.
Oh yeah,
With the face, like, especially
yeah.
being in a hospital and how fucking chaotic that was.
It's
like,
the only thing we've seen. Like, here's the thing. I think at this point, what was supposed to happen before the pandemic is we were supposed to have Black Widow, we are supposed to have Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I think both of those, the movie and the show, got pushed back. And so the only thing we've seen, and I think Endgame was like what 2 years ago at this point. The only thing we saw was Far From Home, where they almost like just made a joke about people coming back. So it was really cool seeing like a very serious panic movie quality reaction to the end of Endgame.
well, yeah, it was like really cool seeing her kind of like freak out in the hospital, and then she's kind of like sporadically running, and like people are like phasing back into life in front of her. She's like bumping into him and stuff, and then she's like, "Where's my mom?" And then it does like the M. Night Shyamalan twist, like, "Your mom's been dead for 3 years."
Yeah, no, that was really cool. And the end Sword too, they explains, like, I feel like what this episode did, which was really cool, like what the first 3 episodes was this total weird mystery show, like with a little bit of hints here and there. And they could have kept going with that and being like lost or something. But this episode they were like, no, we're gonna answer all your questions. Here's Sword. Here's why it exists. Here's where the drone comes from, the Beekeeper. Like, here's everything. Fuck off. Now you have no idea what the rest of the show is gonna be.
Yeah, I thought it was cool that it turns out, the beekeeper suit was really just like a normal kind of hazmat suit, but when he crossed the threshold, it kind of transformed into a beekeeper suit.
Yeah. I had a feeling something like that was up. As when they showed like the drone. As soon as they showed the drone going in, I was like, oh, so the drone probably turns into an old timey drone or helicopter, whatever. And yeah, that was really cool. I liked how they re-showed basically the end of episode 3, the parts that we didn't see at the end of episode 3. As twice now, I think Wanda has like blipped time or something,
Yeah.
And so we had to see the part of episode 3 that she rewound. Oh man, it was really cool.
Yeah, watch her launch that chick through like fucking 6 houses.
I was like, damn, is she dead? Like, I don't know if you're gonna be alive anymore after that.
Dude, honestly, the end of the last episode too, you see Vision's face, and he looks like genuinely scared, with what's going on. And I was like, I think he's been in on it, like, because at the end of episode 3, he's kind of starting to realize stuff isn't right, but he doesn't look concerned really. He's just more kind of confused by what's happening. But at the end of episode 4, he looked like he was has known for a while that stuff wasn't right, and then looks very concerned for like his safety.
Yeah, that was what I loved that there were all these theories going on, and I'm sure some people thought it was going to be House of M from the beginning, right? But every theory that I heard had some sympathetic or love story or this or that, and it's like, no, Wanda's just completely lost her fucking mind. She's the villain. It made me want to like rewatch the first episode. Remember when they're having like dinner with Vision's boss, and the mom from that '70s show is like saying like, stop it,
Yeah.
When we watched that, Stephanie was like, oh, I bet she was saying that to Wanda. And at first I didn't really get it. But no, I think not only does Vision know what's going on, all the neighbors know what, like, everyone is forced to play this part as if they step out of line, they probably get fucked up. Like Sword Lady or something.
Well, yeah, like from the get-go, I like after watching episode 1, I kind of figured well, once we realized that like the people are actually kind of real, that it made me think of the Twilight Zone episode with the kid with the powers, and like his family's like scared of him, so he transforms him into weird shit and then teleports him into the cornfield, like, wish it away, Jimmy, wish it away. And so everybody's just I don't know if you've ever seen that episode, but
No, I have not. I've only have seen like a handful of Twilight Zone episodes, but I mean that sounds like one.
yeah, there's one where it's like his family like does basically whatever he wants because he has like weird powers, and like the grandfather's like sick of playing like his game and shit, and he turns him into a Jack in the Box, and they're like, wish him away, and he like teleports him like away, and they're like, you're a good boy, Jimmy, like you did good. Like, because they're all fucking terrified that he's gonna like kill them.
Yeah, I don't know. And I also loved seeing like what was weird is this did more world building than most of the movies did, as it had the dude from Ant-Man. They had
the chick from Thor.
Yeah, and then they technically had, Geraldine, or I don't know what her real name was. Rambo though was from Captain Marvel, and it really is like tying things together. Like we said, what the world is like after Endgame, like with the snapping. But afterwards, like Sword exists, but Shield doesn't, and the FBI like works with them, and they're aware of it, and there's all this stuff going on. It made me think like, wow, the universe is aware. Like everyone knows aliens exist. Local law enforcement knows like, oh, if something weird is happening, we need to haul in special departments. Like, as I hate in superhero movies where it's just some cop that's like, I've never heard of an alien before. Like, let me walk into this situation, get destroyed. Like, I think that the entire world is smart to crazy paranormal stuff, and they're all like on the level now finally.
Yeah, and I thought it was really interesting too, the fact that from the outside they're basically watching the television show that we're watching. Yeah. So it's very like self-aware.
Yeah, it's like almost meta, as they were even referring to them as characters.
Yeah, he's like, this person is cast as this person.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. Yeah. No, it's really cool, and it's like I'm in that border where it's like I would, if all of it was out right now, I would binge watch all of it in like one sitting, stay up till 4 a.m. But I'm also kind of really glad that we're not doing that, and that we can watch an episode, talk about it, have theories, reconsider it, like get excited for the next episode. So yeah, I don't know. I'm on the border where like I would love to watch all of them, but I'm almost glad that we're getting kind of like a WandaVision movie, but in 9 parts.
Well, yeah, because that's the problem with if they just released it all in one shot, then within like 3 hours of it coming out all over the internet, there would be like the end of it. Like people would be like, "What's happening?" And someone's like, here it is." And you wouldn't have any mystery to it, and everyone would be scared to even like go on our way because everyone's just gonna spoil it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, also, yeah. Okay. So first off, Ootle News. I don't even I have to hide every interest I have, basically, so I don't get any potential spoilers, as it'll just be like in the headlines, like, oh, well, this character's really this character, and you want to know who the Beat Heaper is, and it's like, Bro, no, I don't. Actually, I'm genuinely fascinated by the fact that I, as someone who has read tons of comics, don't know what's going on. Like, I don't need to go to that next level where people are reading the wine labels on the bottle and deciphering it and stuff like that.
You're like, I want to be pleasantly surprised by the end of
Exactly.
this. I don't want all the information up front.
Exactly, yeah. And yeah, I mean, also I think that it is purposely misleading too. You know, like after the first two episodes, like I said, I think I talked to a bunch of different people. Everyone had a theory. Episode 3 comes out, all of it's thrown away. So
Yeah.
after episode 3, everyone's like, all right, well, maybe these are my new theories. After episode 4, all of it's thrown away. You know, like, I have a feeling I know what the future of this show is, and I'm so excited for episode 5 to throw it all away. You know?
Right? That's how I've been, where it's like, yeah, I have like 4 or 5 theories, and then a new episode comes out, and I'm like, all right, 3 of those are gone now. I have 4 new ones.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah.
Man, so if you have any friends that invested in GameStop, you know, I'd hit them up, you know, this year for any birthdays, bar mitzvahs, Christmas. I have a couple other stocks too. If any Redditors want to, you know, fudge the prices on those up a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. So for if you're listening and you don't know me and Justin, you know, you're one of the other 12 people that listen to this podcast. I was furious about what was happening. So I mean, I don't know. Do we want to like tell it in chronological order or something, like sort of set it up? I don't know who would be listening who doesn't know what's going on, but
Yeah. So I guess I'll just give a little run. So when did this happened? Was it earlier this week? Was it
I want to
just a few
say
days ago?
like it started 2 weeks ago, and that's when I heard about it. But like, there's so much other shit going on that I didn't take it serious. I was like, GameStop, that business is never coming back. Who gives a shit, you know? But it really hit. I think like Tuesday or Wednesday, something like that.
Yeah, so basically what ended up happening was there was some subreddit that's like Wall Street Beats or some bullshit like that.
Wall Street bets, yeah.
Bets, there we go. That was talking about how they looked it up and some brokerage, I guess, like had obtained a bunch of stock in GameStop. And so they organized this like mass buying of GameStop stock, and in doing so, like not only like fucking raised the price of, if you looked at the stock of GameStop back at like the beginning of this year, it was like, I don't know, like $14 or something like that per stock. I think when I looked it up like last night or something, it was at like $134 or something like that. So, and it peaked higher than that.
Yeah,
I think, even,
right now I think it's at like 350, something around there.
oh
So
man.
and before it was like at $4, $3. So if you went in through like $100 in, you got, I don't know what, like, I'm not a mathematician, all right, but you got like 40 stocks. Those 40 stocks at $4 are now whatever, you know, a bunch. And there are people who bought 5,000 stocks, and they're millionaires right now. Like they have like $30 million. So more context was the hedge funds that had bought these stocks. Apparently, why so many people were so heated was because they bought these types of stocks called short stocks. There's short stocks and there's long stocks. The long stocks are the ones you sit on for years and years and years, and eventually, like, you know, like I have long stocks in like Disney and Netflix. And the point is, like, you sit on them for years, and the business will keep going up, and you'll just keep making money. A short stock is one where you plan to buy it, and then a week later you sell it, and you just make a quick profit off of it. What these hedge funds were doing, which is crazy, it almost seems illegal, is they were making like fractions of stocks. They were splitting, like they were basically making. So say there's only 100 stocks for GameStop. what they did was they bought a stock and then would resell like 5 stocks. So then it was like 140% of stocks were in the market. 250% of stocks were in the market. And what they planned on doing was selling them for like $4 a pop, and then the company would go bankrupt, and then they would never have to worry about buying that. They would just have made the money, and then never have to worry about buying back the stocks that don't exist technically, as it's 250% of the stocks. I'm not gonna pretend that I'm a finance wizard, but like basically that's what was happening. So what Wall Street Bets had did was like, well, we're going to buy as many stocks as humanly possible, so that way the price goes up. So when the hedge funds have to buy back the stocks, because you can't end on 250, imaginary stocks. Like eventually, like there are time limits. You have to short that back down to the 100% of stocks. The hedge funds that's made $4 are now going to have to pay $400 back. And there are people with 50,000 of these stocks. So the hedge funds are going to have to pay millions, billions of dollars back on fucking GameStop, which gave you $13 for your PS3. Like it's like almost a layer of the joke is that people were treating these billionaire hedge funds managers like as if they were GameStop and being like, I'll give you back the stock for like, I'll give you a quarter of what you deserve, So yeah, so that's sort of what happened Wednesday. Was it finally broke that a bunch of people were doing this, and these hedge funds got really pissed off as it was like, oh, holy shit, like these people found out how I steal money and they're doing it too, these damn poor people.
I know, I can sleep. I saw an article saying that Mark Cuban's son or whatever made money doing the GameStop stocks, and I was like, well, at least I can sleep easy knowing that multi-billionaire Mark Cuban's son made a profit, and he's like 11.
Yeah. So that just like was happening, and then it hit like the media, right? So it was like 3 million people I think are in this Wall Street Bets subreddit. I don't know how many of them participated, but it was enough to where like it was noticeable. So then it hit the news. And once it hit the news, everyone and their mom was like, I want in. I knew some dude that bought 5,000 shares of GameStop stock when it was at like 200. So he's already made how much money now that it's up to 350? And he got in way late in the game, where there are people who bought 5,000 at like $4 who have made who knows how much. So what happened was it had reached a point where some of these hedge funds were like, hey, I'm in charge of people's 401ks. I only have 5 boats and 17 cars and $2 billion.
Two rental properties in Aspen.
You're gonna bankrupt me. Like, I only have so many billions of dollars, and these fucking nerds on Reddit had basically brought them to the cleaners, So what had happened was the main they call it retail investors, and that's like your Robinhood, your Webull, your E-Trade. These are just like I have also a guy that's like my broker that helps me out with stuff, right? I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I have lots of money, but I do have like I said, I have stocks. I don't trust that I'm gonna be able to retire on Social Security. I don't know who would, So I have a guy that helps me out with that. That's not what the main problem was. As your normal broker would tell you, GameStop, that shit's going bankrupt. We don't want any of that. But Robinhood, which is an app that you can just download, you can just put in money. You can put in $100 and you can buy it there. And there's no one telling you not to do this. So half of all Robinhood people, users, had bought GameStop stocks, and that's what drove it to an insane number that would have according to some billionaires, would have crippled the economy if they had to pay back the short the short stocks, because at that point, like, literally half of the country was buying GameStop stock. You know.
Dude, yeah, so the entire thing was just pretty insane, to the point where it Robinhood they like pulled GameStop's the ability to buy their stock off of their app. And what they ended up started doing too was people who had purchased GameStop stock through Robinhood, they were like auto cashing their stocks out for
Yeah.
them and stuff.
So that's why people got upset. Like, all right, so you take the base storyline was just a bunch of people found out that these hedge fund managers were basically betting on a company dying. And a company like AMC, it wasn't just GameStop. That was the one that got, like, hooked. But it was like, basically, it's very common for you to bet on companies going bankrupt, especially during the pandemic, right? So, like, what they did was they were like, well, I'm going to fuck over the people who are betting on the economy going down, which is exactly what happened in 2008, which is exactly what happened in 1999. Like, this is not a new thing that Wall Street has done. They bet on failures. There's brokers that bet on success, like, Disney, and there's brokers that bet on failures. What caused it to be, like, even more controversial, what got me personally heated, like, so I have Robinhood. I had stock in AMC. I was trying to get stuff in GameStop. What had happened was, when Robinhood prevented your ability to buy the stock, they did not freeze the stock. They like Justin said, drove the price down. So if I have AMC and they prevented me from buying any more AMC, but the only thing I'm allowed to do is sell my AMC. So then everyone has the stock and they're selling it. Well, that's going to make the price go down, the price go down, the price go down. So then by the time the hedge funds have to pay it back, they won't lose billions of dollars anymore. They'll be back to the price that they bought it at, and they won't actually lose any money. And that's what made people furious, because an app called Robinhood, steal from the rich, give to the poor, which there's more to the story. All right, so what was it? It was like Century Securities or Sentinel Securities, something like that, is the company that owns 30% of Robinhood. They gave millions and billions of dollars to these hedge funds so that they can continue to short the stocks and make the inflation go down, because the more stocks you create, the less an individual stock's price is, so that it could pretend like as if more people were selling it, so that it tricks more people into selling their stock, so that they would get out of having to pay a bunch of money. It was like such a crazy insider trading, market manipulation bullshit move that was so transparent that everyone was hauling them on their bullshit. Like, not just you and me, but like, it was crazy that Mark Cuban and Donald Trump Jr. and Bernie Sanders, AOC, Ted Cruz, Mia Khalifa, I don't know who that is. I mean, someone would have to tell me. But
Elon.
Don't even get me started on the Elon. We'll get to that when we get to the cryptocurrency chapter of this story. But like, everyone was like saying how blatantly obvious the market manipulation was to benefit the billionaires and prevent the common people from being able to make money. It was all over the news. It was just a really fucked up situation, and like all other fucked up situations that are happening, they won. Like the guy didn't get to, like, we all got fucked over, and there's gonna be no punishment for anyone.
So, do you still have your GameStop stock?
No, I don't. It is so then what happened today is they did open up the ability to buy GameStop stock again, but they've highly restricted it. They've prevented your ability to buy fraction stocks. They've basically neutered the common man's ability. So like you got to get out. I mean, like I'm not telling you to get out if you have GameStop stock. If you want to let this ride and see where it goes, more than welcome to. But like I'm not sitting here on millions of dollars. I'm sitting here on like $20. So I sold it. I was like, I'm not dealing with this anymore. You know, I was too emotionally invested that I was like, it's better for me not to pay attention to it anymore. You know.
You're like, my blood pressure can only go so high.
For real, dude. I was freaking out. Like I was like having trouble going to sleep as I had to open up my Robinhood app every 5 minutes to see what's going on. You know, if you're willing to write it, like I know, one of the people, the dude who has the most invested, lost already 10 million potential dollars. So if he would have sold out a day ago, he would have made 50 million, and now he's sitting at like 30 million. You know, so it's like if you're willing to make that choice, you can go ahead. I don't have that much invested. I'm not gonna worry about losing $5. You know.
Well, because my thing is, and we'll talk about it, I guess, too, when we move into the cryptocurrency thing, is that, my thing is, it's all like you were saying, like the time to buy like GameStop stock, like that was weeks ago. Like the time to buy the stock was weeks ago. And that's the thing is with the internet, like next week, there will be a new thing that everyone will be fascinated with. And I don't think the traction of let's like jack up the GameStop stock and AMC blah blah, like everyone's doing that now because that's like the thing. But then next week, it's like once people get bored with doing that, it's just gonna end up returning back to normal. So and it's already kind of on the decline. So I think now's the time to open the passenger door and bail out.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing too. Like what Robinhood did and what these hedge funds did, it doesn't matter what their justification is or this or that. Like they succeeded. There was this monumentous like movement, this momentum of this stock going up and up and up, as also you can buy fraction stocks. So it's like, well, I don't care, whatever, I'll throw in $10. That $10 turns into 50 in an hour. Well, all right, I'll throw in 50 more dollars. Well, that turned into 200 in another hour. So everyone was in it, and then they halted it. You had a whole day where no one could buy. You've restricted the ability to buy. You can't buy fraction stocks. So, like, no one's going to sit there, like, at where it is now, where it's not going up anymore. No one's going to throw in $9,000. And the people who are, that's not going to affect it. The thing is, it wasn't one person throwing in $9,000 affected it. It was 300 million people throwing in $10 that affected it. And, yeah, I just don't see it working anymore. You know, I sold my note. So there were other stocks too. I had Nokia, BlackBerry. There was also like Bed Bath and Beyond. Like a bunch of them were going up.
You had the whole fucking discography going.
Yeah, well, it was basically
90s
like
baby.
Yeah, exactly.
If
there was something that was cool back in the day, Yahoo Milk, fucking throw down on it. You know. But yeah, it's just I'm gonna keep the AMC as I do actually think that when the pandemic's over and you can go to the movies again, like that will pick up. Actually, very interesting story if I'm allowed to segue. AMC was gonna file for bankruptcy. On Wednesday, the Cheer members sold their own stock, which was worth at the time $300 million, and they were able to buy off their debtors until September so that they don't have to file for bankruptcy. So like out of this entire story, like whatever with GameStop, whatever with all these other stories in Robinhood, this did legitimately save one of the highest, like one of the biggest theater companies, and in so doing might have saved the industry. So I know like maybe you should have had Tanner on this episode because he's such a fucking theater nerd that like it actually there was an impact, and I want more people to like realize that story, like regardless with all this other shit, like the Reddit nerds saved the movie theaters pretty well much, like and they did more for the entertainment industry than anyone on fucking Wall Street or any of these goddamn bailout bills or anything like that.
See, my thing is, I mean, that's cool and all, but there's also like no telling whether or not the movie theater is even gonna be open in March, like, because no one wants to wear their fucking mask still. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm debating going and seeing Godzilla versus King Kong in theaters, just as that's a movie that like I want to see it. I know it'll be on HBO Max, but it's one of those movies you want to see on the big screen.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. Even then, like I'm very skeptical. There's like new fucking. There's the UK strain, the South African strain. You know, there's all these like new strains where vaccines don't even work or whatever. I mean, I'm not gonna be an anti-vaxxer. If I get one, I'm gonna get one. You know, but it doesn't seem like the ride's over. You know.
You're like, I caught a case of the Guatemalan COVID.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't taking it too seriously, and then I got super sick and super paranoid about what was going on. My family, like back in Chicago, a couple people got it. Stephanie's family in Minnesota, a bunch of people got it. People went to the hospital. Like, it's no joke at all. Like, if you don't know anyone who wasn't sick, I could see how you would think, like, all right, it's just the flu. These numbers mean nothing. But when it starts hitting people it's like, it doesn't hit one person Like, it makes it into the family. It goes to one Christmas party. Boom, everyone's sick. Next thing you know, grandma's fucking fighting for her life in a coma in the ICU. And you're like, oh, well, maybe I should have fucking wore a mask when I went to the grocery store.
Right.
Yeah. But we got away from the cryptocurrency GameStop thing. So now almost the story's over with GameStop. There was a lot of rise. It's peaked. It's done. I think that the thing some people are holding out for those shorts to close, but I don't know the time limits on those. Like, some of them had to close today, but I didn't see the price increase. Like, I think like the hedge funds got enough backing from private investors to where they'll be able to cover it. They'll get bailouts from the government, I'm sure. A couple people will have made a lot of money, but not enough for it to like matter to me and you know. So yeah, so then if you want to move on to the real meat of this story is Dogecoin. All right.
And see, I don't know much. I didn't see too much about. All I heard was that I guess Elon Musk went on, I think, Twitter and was like promoting Dogecoin, which, if you don't know what Dogecoin is, besides Bitcoin in the cryptocurrency market, there's thousands of fucking cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin was the one that took off, and other people have tried to mimic it, but there hasn't really been quite something as successful as Bitcoin. And one of the cryptocurrencies is called Dogecoin, which Dogecoin is based off the Doge meme, which is like it's that fucking like Japanese dog. Like, wait, it's not a corgi, is it? It's
I don't know what it is. I don't know.
But yeah, it's just like adorable fat fucking dog that's making like a stupid face, and that's the meme of Doge. And these two dudes, back in like I think it's been around since like 2013 or something fucking stupid. Like, it's been around. But the thing is it's like its value was like nothing. Like, it was like in comparison to a penny, it was like
of a penny. Like,
yeah,
like
it was like 0.000 like 3. Like, when it came, it was worth nothing.
Yeah.
But I guess like the thing about it though is the reason, like one of the reasons it was worth nothing is because unlike Bitcoin, like it takes like for mining and stuff, and I'm no cryptocurrency expert. I think Troy has said it.
No, if someone says that they know what's up with cryptocurrency, they're fucking lying. No one knows what the hell's going on with that.
But like, you have to like mine for cryptocurrency and stuff like that. And from my understanding, Dogecoin, the reason why too, besides nobody knowing what the fuck it is or even like about, when mining it, you get like a fuck ton of it in comparison to like Bitcoin or something else. Like, it's produced very quick and in abundance, and so that's why there's so much of it, but nobody's using it. There's no like real value to it. And I guess Papa Elon went on Twitter and promoted it, and then so like this week, I mean, Dogecoin moved like an entire like decimal place with the amount of people.
More than that. So yeah, if it was at, let's say, 0.0008, it went up to 80 cents. So if it was at, say, $1, it went up to like what, $800. So some people who had, I actually had Dogecoin because I thought it was hilarious. I have some Bitcoin, not like a Bitcoin. I have like 0.0001 Bitcoin, you know. But I have like Ethereum and Litecoin and a couple other things. You get drunk. You have Coinbase. You throw some fucking money on it. Like what? You spend more money on Chick-fil-A. Like who gives a shit, right? And so if you had Dogecoin, which some people like Justin said, you would get a bunch of it. So there's people who have 200,000 Dogecoins, but that really just equals like $3. But so what had happened was all that shit with Robinhood and GameStop was going on, and Elon Musk was like, fuck the Federal Reserve, go to this meme currency, jack up that, buy a bunch of it, and it rose enough to where people were making thousands of dollars. I ended up making like 10 bucks off of it or whatever, and then I sold it as I was like, this train is not going. Like there's no way this is lasting more than a day, but when it's skyrocketed up, and it's now the 7th most profitable, I think the last I saw, the 7th most profitable cryptocurrency. And it's just been a wild week for nerds who have basically worthless stock and worthless cryptocurrency, thanks to Elon Musk, Barstool Sports, and Reddit. A lot of poor people, a lot of poor nerds made a shit ton of money if they were smart about it. Everyone's gonna say, hey, hold on it. Like, bro, get out now. If you have any money, get out now, as it is not gonna last. I think Dogecoin already went down like 30-40 cents from the moment we started this conversation.
Right, and that's what's funny is I actually had someone message me this morning, one of my friends, and he was like, hey man, he's like, so I've always kind of thought of you as like a smart individual, and he's like, what do you think about Dogecoin? And I was just like, dude, like, I don't know. I was like, I straight up told him, I was like, dude, if people are invested enough in it, like, to get the price to go up like they were with GameStop and stuff, I was like, I could see it by like next week hitting $1. Like,
I don't see it. I think this is like you said, by next week, something else will happen. Everyone else will be paying attention to that.
Well, and that's what I told him, was I was like, dude, like, if people are invested in it, and I was like, that's the thing, is people were invested in the GameStop thing. I was like, but that trend is already kind of dying down. Like, the meme of that is already dissipating. So I'm like, dude, like, these people aren't gonna fucking stick around to sit there and like raise Dogecoin. So I was like, if they're interested in it, then yeah, I could see it going up. I'm like, otherwise, I don't.
Well, and so then what happened with Papa Elon Musk? He said he was gonna take us to the moon, but then I think literally at 2 a.m. or something, as I was awake watching WandaVision, he tweeted something about Bitcoin. And all of a sudden, Dogecoin started dropping, and Bitcoin went up like $8,000. And it's crazy to think that one person like Elon Musk has his one tweet affects things that heavily. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's how it is now. So yeah, so then Papa Musk betrayed the Dogecoin meme nerds, hopped on the Bitcoin wagon, and I mean, I have Bitcoin too. I made like $50 yesterday. So like, it's whatever. That's, you gotta diversify your funds. If you're listening to this podcast for financial advice, and which you shouldn't be, you gotta spread it across everything.
Dude, I was like, that's my thing, is when he was asking me, I'm like, dude, the time to invest in Dogecoin would have been back. Just like Bitcoin, like people
Yeah.
trying to invest in Bitcoin now. I'm like, bro, you missed the boat.
Yeah.
Like, you should have done that back
If
in
you
like.
are hearing about it now because it's like on Twitter or on the news or something, you're too late. Like by the time it gets popular, you're done. Like you already missed it. Like, and that's why I was trying to tell Steph. I was like so excited and so emotionally invested in this, and she didn't really understand it. She was like, maybe this is an AI thing. I don't know. But it's like there's those rare stories where yeah, if you had Bitcoin at the beginning, or if you had like Microsoft stock, or this and that, like there's only so many chances you have in your life to get in on something on the ground floor. So it makes sense where like this GameStop stuff or Dogecoin, like you are hoping this is my moment. You know, as you might never get another shot to make $1 million doing nothing except for taking a risk. You know.
Right, dude, and that's what's so funny is I've had Robinhood for like a few years now. Someone that I worked with got like hardcore into like stocks and stuff, and like when like weed was like going on the docket, he was like investing in like all these businesses that were like going to be like incorporating like wheat into like beverages and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, and so and they were like really low. And so, he was like, okay, well, if this like whatever, it's going to skyrocket because like Coke might buy it out or like, this shit might happen with it. And so I like invested in probably like 3 or 4 random, just like not even expensive, like stocks that were like 20 cents. And I
Yeah,
invested
yeah.
like $1 into like each of them. And at some point or another, I ended up selling each of them, but each of them did insane. And I was like, dude, if I fucking would have invested like $100, like the one that I still have, I bought 4 stocks at 20 cents. Each stock is like $5 now. And I
Yeah.
was like, dude, if I had invested like $100 in this, it like fucking went up like
Yeah,
800
and
fucking percent
I mean
like
that's the thing too.
overnight.
Like you can go ahead and throw in like yeah the AMC thing. I have like 4 stocks. It was like $50, whatever, you know. Um, and I like the thing with the Bitcoin and all that. Like I have some money, but it's not like it's a big deal, right? But like if you put in you hit out what you put into it, you know. Like so like for me personally, I threw like $2,000 into Disney at the beginning of the pandemic, and they now are more profitable than they have ever been before the pandemic or when their amusement parks were open because of Disney Plus. You know, so it's like the thing is, yeah, I've made a lot of money. If I would have thrown in $20, yeah, I would have made some money. It would have been nice. But you throw in 2,000, you throw in 5,000. That's how you make like even the guy who, like, that's the thing too. Everyone thinks with GameStop they would have made $1 million. No, the only people who made $1 million are the people who threw in $5,000 when it was at $4. You know, like
Like
you're not yeah.
refinance their house.
Yeah,
And,
there were
like,
people. There were people. I was hearing stories like people literally threw like 50K into GameStop. So like now they're good. Now they're set. Now and they've sold because their purpose was throw in my life savings, eat out while I could on a high note, and now they're millionaires. Those people who are still sitting on it when and here's the thing too with a normal broker, if you're like have to talk over the phone, there's no guarantee you'll get that shit when you want to get that shit. You know, if you have Robinhood, there's sorry, my dog is like scratching at the door. I don't know if you can hear that or not. If you have Robinhood, the moment that GameStop starts going down, every fucking single person is gonna start selling. The servers are gonna crash. There are gonna be delays, and you're gonna be fucked over. You know, so it's like that's the shitty thing about stocks is like you could be sitting on $1 million and then it become $10 in no time flat, and there are so many ways that you could even see it happening and do nothing about it, you know.
yeah, that's my thing is I was like, and people were trying to, like you said, with Blockbuster and AMC and stuff, they were trying to like replicate what happened with GameStop, but nothing really quite like took off like GameStop. Like that's the one where everybody came together and made it happen.
Yeah, Yeah, and I don't know. I remember I was watching an interview on I don't know, CNN or MSNBC, some shit like that, and it was the dude who played, or not the dude who Leonardo DiCaprio played for Wolf of Wall Street, like the real guy who that story was based off of.
Yeah.
Basically, they were like saying like, did what Robinhood do to shut down the servers, that it make sense? Like basically just asking his opinion. And it was awesome actually. He was like, yeah, it was 100% illegal. That's the thing too. What the people did on Reddit, you legally are not allowed. Like, I can't say on a public forum, hey Justin, buy this stock price so that we can manipulate the market and make it go up even though we don't believe in the company. Like, that's actually illegal. So like, if the government really wanted to, they could go into that Reddit, and start arresting people. So this dude was like, yeah, what you did was illegal. What Robinhood did was probably to save their own asses, as they have to cover a bunch of fees and they have to do all this sort of stuff. And if you get away with it, technically these companies and the government go to Robinhood and be like, well, this is your fault for letting this happen. But the moment he basically was, it seemed like he was siding with the hedge funds, but he ended it off by saying like, do it again, do it smarter, pick a company that people won't realize what's going on, as obviously GameStop is going bankrupt. Like, whether it doesn't matter, like if you did this for American Airlines or even AMC or something, there's a lot more wiggle room. And he was like, don't fucking broadcast it, like if you get less people to invest more money, you can make way fucking more money and get away with this. So basically the guy was like on national news being like, yes, I want you to keep committing crimes, do it, but be smart, don't get caught, I love you.
He's like, I'm for the people.
yeah well, I don't know if you've seen Wolf of Wall Street, but yeah. I mean, he gets caught at the end, he goes to jail, so it's like the guy knows, like he's like, yeah man, like don't fuck up.
He's like, I'm the OG of fucking the stock market. He's like, you don't even.
Yeah, I don't think CNN knew what they were getting into with that interview.
They were just like, hey, this is probably the biggest guy in stocks. Let's just get him on.
Yeah, we can say a movie that people know, and he was like, commit crimes on a federal level.
Oh, man. I was like, that's like I saw a meme the other day where it was like it's those like giant, the dominoes where it's like the little white ones building up, and it's like the little one was like shooting a fucking gorilla, and then it was like at the very end, then it was like bankrupting hedge funds.
Yeah, I love those. I think my favorite one is like casting Robert Downey Jr. to play a forgettable comic book movie or something like that, and that was a little one, and the big one was like, Star Wars and comic books have dominated all of pop culture.
I was like, oh man, too, before I forget, I actually invested $10 in this ad read.
Wait, what?
Hey guys, it's your boy, Justin Time Carter, from the Nothing to Play podcast, and I'm here to talk to you about a little ditty called Anchor. That's right. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. It's free, it has creation tools that allow you to record and, that's right, edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Mind you, I don't use those tools, but I could. And Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many other places where podcasts can be heard. You can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, which is good for me because I have like maybe 8 listeners. And there's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And that one place is the Anchor app or Anchor.fm. And it's free to get started. And you download it. Just give it a download. And when you're done downloading it and you're making your podcast, you can listen to the Nothing to Play podcast, which is a mediocre podcast about video games, movies, and ad reads.
But
Man, that was a good ad read.
oh yeah, I was there for it. Yeah, it was not that bad. Your
Yeah.
voice could have been better, but
I mean, Troy uses Anchor.
I don't do ads though, as I'm a man of the people. All right. Like the guy from Wolf of Wall Street. Come on now.
Man, that was a throwback.
A full circle. Full circle. Now if I was gonna go full circle, I'd bring in WandaVision or something. But I'm not that clever apparently.
Yeah, it's just crescent circle.
So it's a little bit related. We finally have a date for the Justice League Snyder Cut, which will come out in like 3 weeks or 4 weeks or something like that. Basically, 2 months, less than March 18th. That's the date for the 4-hour-long movie that cost $70 million to add 4 more minutes to the movie.
Are you excited for it?
Oh yeah, super excited. Yeah, definitely. I think it's ridiculous that this is existing. Like don't get me wrong. I'm fully aware that it's absolutely a joke that WB. I think I saw something that was like the time it took Marvel to go from Civil War to WandaVision. It's taking DC to go from Justice League to a longer version of Justice League.
That's good.
Yeah, like I think that this is even happening is absolutely absurd. But I actually really liked Man of Steel. I liked Batman vs Superman, the Ultimate Edition. I thought there were some problems in the theatrical cut. The Ultimate Edition solved a lot of those issues for me. So I'm actually legitimately excited. As I thought Justice League was okay. I didn't really like it. It would have ranked pretty low on my lists. Not as low as Wonder Woman 84. Jesus, that movie was terrible.
Yeah, I was like, we haven't even talked about Wonder Woman 84.
Well, I wasn't sure if you had done a previous episode about it or not, because it was fucking terrible. Have you talked about it before on a previous episode yet?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I don't think it was out because the last episode I did was in December.
Yeah, it came out at Christmas.
Yeah, I think I had already done an episode. I don't think I talked about it.
Oh, all right. We have plenty of time for you to put like 2 more ads in. All right. But no. So first off, Justice League, I actually am excited. I think Zack Snyder gets a lot of shit. And I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that he's Martin Scorsese or anything, but the dude knows how to make cool shit. Like he's more like Michael Bay than,
Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, well, I was like, oh, I already used that one. I got to come up with another one. Quentin Tarantino. I don't know, but yeah, he's like Michael Bay. Just don't pay too much attention. Look for the cool shit, and you're fine. But if DC is cutting off Zack Snyder and moving in a more Patty Jenkins direction, then we are in trouble. Then DC will go bankrupt soon, as Wonder Woman 84 was, if not just the worst DC movie, not just one of the worst comic book movies. Like I legitimately thought it was just a terrible movie, like on its own merit, a bad movie.
Dude, I'll agree to that. I was like, before we tear apart Wonder Woman 84, so where the fuck do you think, like, so the new Batman movie is is Ben Affleck still gonna be Batman?
So,
because last I'd heard he had quit, but then I heard he was like coming back. So I'm like, are they continuing with that? And are they gonna
I think what they're going to do is I think that Flash will be Flashpoint, and they'll like retcon Batman out of, like they'll retcon Ben Affleck out of the DC EU or whatever it's fucking called. And yeah, I think his Flashpoint. I don't know if you read it or watched the animated movie or not.
I love Flashpoint.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know this, is Flashpoint also in the comic books is what started the New 52. Basically you had Final Crisis, you had a bunch of stuff in between, and then Flashpoint happened, and at the end of Flashpoint you don't actually know what universe he's coming back to. And he comes back to, he's what starts the New 52. And a lot of people will shit on the New 52 for various reasons. I actually love a lot of the runs. Batman specifically, the Scott Snyder run is phenomenal. But that's what I think they're doing. Is I think they're gonna have the Flashpoint movie. He'll come back, and then it'll sort of retcon some of the mistakes in the DC universe.
Like Jared Leto's Joker.
Oh my god, dude. Oh, don't. I actually don't think that Suicide Squad's all that bad, but Jared Leto's Joker is fucking garbage. You know, I think let me write that. Suicide Squad movie is bad. All right, it actually is pretty bad, but without a doubt, Jared Leto's Joker is the worst part of it.
I was like, it's not worse than Wonder Woman 84.
And
that's how you go full circle.
That's how you do it. Like some Hot Wheels circles right there. Yeah, no. So I have HBO Max. I watched Wonder Woman 84. It's like a 2.5 hour long movie. First of all, it's as long as an Avengers movie, and nothing happens in it, right? After it was done, Stephanie and I talked for like 2 hours about how terrible of a movie that is. Then we paid $20 to watch Tenet finally. Talked for like an hour about like how good of a movie that was. Like we needed to watch that to like cleanse our brains, as there's no way we would have been able to go to sleep after Wonder Woman 84. That's how bad it was.
Dude, like, so many things disappointed me about that movie, because the first 10 minutes were pretty promising, and it was pretty funny because when me and Megan were watching it, I was actually praising it in the very beginning because after watching fucking the live action Mulan, I ripped into Mulan about how, like, for half the stunts and shit, like, she's like so still, like, it's very clear she's on a wire. Yeah. And the way she's like just kind of floating through the air and stuff a lot in that movie, I'm like, dude, like, who the fuck coordinated these stunts? Like, it's clearly on a wire, like, not. And so in the beginning of Wonder Woman 84, they're like the Amazonians like doing flips and shit.
Yeah,
and I was like
the Olympics or whatever they did.
Yeah, and during that whole scene, I was actually praising it, and I was like, dude, like, this is like what if Mulan had done this, it would have been way better. Like, if it, like, the action had looked even as good as them flying through the air and stuff in the first 10 minutes. But then after that scene, it goes into the mall scene, and then it's like the same Mulan on a fucking wire, like really awkward looking, like through the air movement and shit. And I was like, what? Did two different people film this? Like, what happened?
Yeah. So I'm not gonna say I'm the opposite, as I thought both openings were terrible. But I thought that the Amazonian opening, I was very like, this doesn't make sense. Like, my biggest problem with Wonder Woman 84 is it just doesn't make sense. Like, in the rules of the DC universe, in the rules of Wonder Woman, in the rules of its own movie, it doesn't make sense. So you have, remember Wonder Woman, you have this whole story of how Diana wants to train as a little girl. The mom refuses to let her train. It wasn't, and she had to like go train in secret until she was like an adult and could compete against other adults. So then you have this scene where apparently while she's training in secret, she also is allowed to, as a 10-year-old and as an 8-year-old, however, to compete against 1,000-year-old physically fit Amazonians, and this 8-year-old's beating your ass. Like, how? Like, it doesn't make sense, as it shouldn't be happening according to Wonder Woman Wonder Woman 1. And also, you're telling me that she has any competition versus these women is absolutely insane. Like, how are you an island full of super badass warriors if an 8-year-old can whoop your ass? You know? Then she gets knocked off of her horse or whatever. She apparently cheats. I don't see how she cheats. She's off of her horse. I don't know. She then tries to finish, and then the mom is like, hey, no, cheaters don't win. You know, it's better to lose fairly than to win cheating. But she doesn't realize it. She doesn't, like, the little girl doesn't understand it at all. And then she apparently doesn't have this lesson taught to her through the entire events of for 100 years, 1,000 years, I don't know how long it is. The entire events of the first movie, she doesn't understand this lesson. And then in the 1980s is when she finally is like, oh, cheaters never win? Like, how? Give me a fucking break. How stupid is that?
Oh my,
Yeah.
like, I mean, I 100% agree with that. There was a lot of things that didn't make, to me, the rules of the Wish Stone didn't make any sense because the dude made, like, so if you haven't watched Wonder Woman 84, which
Oh,
I,
spoilers, by the way.
yeah,
Spoilers
yeah,
if you haven't watched it.
the only difference between Wonder Woman 84 and WandaVision is I don't feel bad for spoiling Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah.
Um, but so the whole thing is there's this stone that grants wishes, and the fucking Wanda makes not Wanda. Oh my fucking god, Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman makes a wish, and she wishes for dead boyfriend to come back. Okay, dead boyfriend. That doesn't actually happen though. His soul basically gets Full Metal Alchemist into some fucking Guido fucking biker dude. But okay, that's a whole different issue with the movie, is that entire section. But that's her wish with the stone. Who will eventually become Cheetah? Her wish was to become like Diana, not realizing she's an Amazonian princess. So then she becomes effectively an Amazonian fucking warrior chick, gets super strength, whatever. Okay, that was her wish. The fucking main villain, if you can call him that, his wish for the stone was to become the stone, causing the stone to disintegrate and him to effectively be the living stone. And with it, throughout the movie, it establishes multiple rules revolving around the stone, like the fact that he has to be touching someone, and that they have to say their wish out loud, and then like he would say, like, tack on to the end of it, well, in return I get your wife's fucking first kid or whatever. And he would and throughout the whole movie, okay, it plays off of those rules and abides to it fairly well until like the entire third act of the movie. They just toss all that shit out the window, and fucking he goes on TV and is telling everyone to make wishes, because by making wishes, it's also killing him throughout the movie. So then at the end, he finally realizes...
Never explained why that's
never
happening.
explained that either. But then he's just like, okay, well, make any wish you want wishes, and in return, I get their life force or whatever. So then it like heals him. But I'm like, throughout the entire movie, you made the point that you have to be touching someone and they have to say their wish out loud and whatever. And then now people somehow, because you're on TV, people everywhere around the world are just making wishes, like maybe not even saying them out loud, and they're coming true.
Yeah,
and you're getting
or like I thought also on one of your points is like, yeah, he has to taste something from them. So like yeah, I thought it wasn't complete until something was taken in return, but like he basically just said like 4 things, and everyone eats that. Like, yeah, they threw away the rules of their own. And actually, before we even get to the third act, you have Diana like wishes. So the very first time you see the powers, this dude wishes for coffee, and it's like, oh well, he didn't just magically eat it coffee. Someone had an extra coffee and he eats it, and it was like, all right, this is clever. We can do some clever stuff with this. Diana is her boyfriend, but in doing so, there's a sacrifice where it's like a dude, she gets to rape a guy, and like, oh yeah, his soul takes over another person, right? Which is weird and doesn't make sense. And he doesn't look like Chris Pine. He looks like this new guy, and literally all he has to do is say, "Hey, here's a watch. Here's some words, and let's have sex." Literally the same night. So if anyone ever would have met Diana and knew the last thing that Steve Trevor said, boom, they would have had her in bed, no problem. On top of that, though, the stone is established that there's a trickster god that can play tricks on people. That's where the stone comes from. So you would think this Amazonian that knows that there's a trickster god wouldn't do some background checking before her dead boyfriend comes back to life. I don't know. The whole boyfriend thing, I'm going to say it's terrible and there's so many problems. But the reason I brought it up is then later on, like this Saudi Arabian guy wishes for a wall around his city, and the wall just appears out of nowhere. So every other wish after that, like someone wishes for more nukes appear out of thin air. Someone wishes for a bazooka, appears out of thin air. So how Steve Trevor didn't just appear out of thin air? Why did they have to take another person's body and create all these really gross, weird loopholes that then are never, like, by the rules of their own movie, never followed the rest of the movie, you know?
And the icing on the cake was when she wished for her dead boyfriend back, never even said the wish out loud. She never actually said the wish. She just held the stone and was like, well, I know what I'd wish for. And it's like, well, I guess I'm going to go to bed. Like,
Yeah, I actually didn't even realize that discontinuity as well. Another, so by the third act, apparently there's so many wishes that it's devastating to the world, and you can't all get what you want, you know. And like that might have been like I thought. Wait, here's another problem I have with the beginning of the movie is it sets it up like as if the purpose of the movies, like the message is, you know, it's better to lose truthfully than to win with a lie. You know, get what you want with a lie. And I thought that maybe what would happen is she would realize, well, this isn't the real Steve Trevor. It's not my story. Like, it's not real. But what ended up happening is, no, she lost her powers. So Steve Trevor had to tell her, hey, in order to get your powers back, you need to revoke your wish. So she didn't even feel sorry that she was fucking taking this dude's life away. She didn't feel like she had cheated in any way. She didn't feel like it wasn't true. She just selfishly wanted, you know, had to get her powers back to save the day. And that message, which is, you know, the truth matters, is never actually established in the third act of the movie at all. You know, so it's like you gave me 10 minutes of the Amazons to teach me a lesson that you then never proved the rest of the movie.
and see, and that's one of the things too is I think didn't they refer kind of to the wishing stone as like kind of like almost like a monkey's paw was the comparison
Yeah.
in the movie, and so that's the thing is the thing with the monkey paw is it grants the wish. It's like you get what you wish for kind of thing where it's like you get your wish, but there's a negative connotation that goes with it where you're like, oh, I wish I was the strongest man alive, and it's like, okay, you're the strongest man alive, but then like all the rest of the men in the world are now dead because you're technically the strongest.
It twists it on its side, you know, so that you don't actually get what you intended to wish for.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
so like Steve Rogers coming back, but but you know, in someone else's body, that would have made sense for like the monkey paw wish. Like you get him, but it's not him. But nobody else's wish was like that. Everybody else's wish actually happened, like in some way. So it's like it's not a you get it, but it's not what you wanted kind of thing.
Yeah, and man, there's like so many problems with the setup of the wish. Like also when Pedro Pascal wishes to be the stone, like it doesn't establish why he's hurt. It doesn't establish like why is he not a stone. You know, like I don't know. There's so many problems with it. But Cheetah, I think, is the biggest problem of the whole thing. Is Cheetah? Oh wait, Kristen Wiig. I don't think I've ever actually seen her in any other movie. Like I haven't seen Bridesmaids, but I know she's funny from SNL, right?
Mm-hmm.
They basically completely neuter her and make her pathetic, and then she wishes to be like Diana. Like, which, wait, first off, the pathetic part is really sad, as you have Wonder Woman like laughing at her and her jokes. I did air quotes for jokes as they weren't real jokes. Her jokes are like, oh, I can't ever find a boyfriend. Ah, oh, no one respects me. And Diana's like, you're hilarious. You know? And then she wishes to be Diana. And she like, so she gets powers and she gets confidence and all this stuff. And Diana's like, well, you're losing your humanity. Like, what? She was a loser? Like, that's what she's sacrificing? She sacrificed nothing. She got everything she wanted. And Diana's excuse is like, well, I liked it better when you were a pathetic piece of shit that no one loved. Go back to that. You know, like, I don't know. It was just, it made absolutely no sense why Cheetah was the bad guy of the movie. Like, if anything, she was the most sympathetic.
That was one of my other big complaints about the movie too, was the like negative connotation or whatever for their wishes. So Diana's was, yeah, it got her boyfriend back, but she was losing her powers. And I'm like, okay, like I don't know why that is, but and then it's like Pedro Pascal's was, I'm gonna become the stone and it's physically killing me. And it's like, okay, like those are pretty extreme. And then Cheetah's was, yeah, I'm gonna become an Amazon god and a fucking human cheetah hybrid fucking CGI nightmare. But I guess I'm kind of a bitch now.
Yeah.
Like where is the like equivalent exchange on any of that?
Well, like, oh yeah. So the thing is, oh yeah, like with Wonder Woman, yes, what they were trying to do was like, all right, you get to have your man back in your life, but because Wonder Woman is a powerful female icon of independence, you don't get to be that anymore because you've basically thrown away your independence for this guy. They didn't explain that. That's me that's me reaching a lot, but they could have done something like that. Pedro Pascal, I thought they were gonna say, well, what he's sacrificing is a life with his son, as he was treating his completely Asian son for no reason like shit. And like, so, oh, his what he wanted really was success, and to be successful, you basically have to throw away your family. Like, that would have been a comforting message. Yeah, and I'm reaching really far for these. The movie did not do a good job with that. But yeah, Cheetah just wishes to not be a pathetic piece of shit, and she gets it. And like, there's her only like, here's the thing, her sacrifice is her humor or something like that. And it's like, no, maybe she's just like not done with dealing with people's bullshit. Like, that's not even a real sacrifice. Like, I can't even reach for something. Like, I feel like they had to throw in you're losing your humanity, and I want to be an apex predator just to get her to be a fucking cheetah when it makes absolutely no sense. A cheetah, by the way, is not an apex predator. They're very small. Like, it made more sense if she was a fucking rhinoceros or something.
Dude, yeah, that was one of my other really big complaints was like at the end of the movie, the big climax, when he's sitting there, Pedro Pascal's like sitting there on TV and everyone's making all the wishes. Diana can't stop him, and he's standing on some like fucking weird thing with like all these papers flying around him, which never happened before. Yeah.
No reason.
And he's just like, I'm a god. So he has like all this power or whatever, and he's having all these people make wishes, and then he realizes like his son's alone in the street in the chaos.
Yeah, for no reason.
Yeah, and so he's just like, oh shit, I gotta go get my kid, and then just like stops and leaves, and it's
which also, if he renounced his wish, how did the fuck did he get off of the island? You'll find the kid that's randomly on the side of the highway in the trees, the next scene. How did he get there? Like, there's no explanation as to how that happens.
Well, yeah, and my thing is, why didn't you just have somebody, like, make a wish, and then instead of having everyone be like, well, I wish for my health, I'd be like, I wish someone would go get my fucking kid out of the street, like, save your kid, like.
The climax, and I mean, there's plenty more we can shit on in this movie. Don't get me wrong, we have 4-hour shit fest on this movie. But the climax of the movie is really disheartening. Because, like I said, the message of the movie was, in my mind, supposed to be truth matters, and false stuff. Like, you know, if you get what you want, but it's through deceiving ways, it doesn't matter. Like, basically, you would look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but you have to take steroids to get it. Then it's not the same as someone who actually worked out, right? But the movie, basically, Diana tells, with no logical sense whatsoever, she's able to communicate through all the TVs also, tells the entire world that they have to renounce their wish because they're losing something. So it's very selfish. It's very like, oh, well, you know, you're getting what you want, but you need to be happy with what you have. You shouldn't want to sacrifice anything. Don't ever wish for anything in life. Be happy with your station. Don't try to improve at all. And banks on every single person in the entire world watching TV and renouncing their wishes after her speech. Like, what bullshit, illogical nonsense is that? That you couldn't imagine at least one person would be like, fuck you. Like, I might eat my wish. You know, like...
Right, dude. And then just like real quick, like for the CGI in the movie was horrible. Like Cheetah looked awful. The whole suit, the gold wing suit that is like in all the promo shots, was mainly used as a shield for Diana to get the shit beat out of her for 5 minutes.
It's apparently this super amazing armor used to fight all of humanity. She wears it, throws it away 5 seconds after, you know, it's beat up by Cheetah. And then tries to murder Cheetah, by the way. I forgot about that part. There's no way she would have known that electrocuting Cheetah would not have killed her. Like, that had to have been attempted murder. There's absolutely no way she would have known she would have lived through that.
Right, and then you have that, and then the entire fucking desert scene was just cringy. Like, the CGI was so bad. Like, the invisible plane scene was fucking just forced in there. They were flying through fireworks for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Also, the movie. Wait. I have so many things I want to complain about. Like the fact that when they're flying through the plane, it's through fireworks. This is the 4th of July, but the movie ends around Christmas. What is the time frame of this stuff happening? But additionally, that's what I felt like a lot of the movie was. Like when you get down to it, the golden armor, her being Cheetah, like a lot of the stuff, the invisible plane seemed like it made absolutely no sense, but they had to put it in there to hit the marks so that people at home would be like, it's the invisible plane. I remember that. You know, it's that armor from that one helmet. I remember that. As the plane, apparently, Diana, for all of eternity, has had the ability to turn things invisible, only ever uses it this one time on this one plane, and then never uses it again through all of Batman vs Superman or Justice League. Like, and that, I think that's also like what upsets me is it doesn't make sense in the rules of being Wonder Woman a sequel. It doesn't make sense being in its own movie as it keeps changing the rules. But the end of this movie has like a world destruction level event from people's wishes. People are launching nukes. All this shit is going on. And you try to tell me that then, 20 years later, no one knows why Superman exists? Like, in the rules of your own, universe, the DC universe, you're telling me that Superman's dad has to be like, no one will understand you. By the way, I was alive in the 80s. There were a lot of weird shit was going on. I wish to be able to fly myself. Everyone saw it. But no one will understand you now because everyone forgot about that. Like, give me a fucking break. Like, you can't have a moment like that in the movie and then pretend like 20 years later Superman happens and it makes logical sense.
Yeah, like Bruce Wayne's dad during that time was like, boy, I sure hope me and my wife won't get murdered in an alley one day.
Right, yeah. Which that might have been why they were murdered. Someone was like, I wish to kill these rich motherfuckers.
I wish for that pearl necklace.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like also, man, like the wishing part makes absolutely no sense. As you're telling me, not a single person like wished for world peace. Not like logistically, at least one person watching TV would wish the guy on TV dies. Like no one, like everyone had to have a bad wish. No one could have wished for world peace. No one's wish could have contradicted. Like you're telling me, no one would have wished no nukes existed on the planet during the 80s, during the height of anti-Cold War protests that are shown in the fucking movie. None of those hippies that were protesting earlier on in the movie would have wished the nuclear armaments that they are protesting no longer existed. Are you fucking even? Like, are you shitting me with this inability to like have I'm fucking losing my mind.
Yep,
all right,
Troy
I
doesn't
can't even
even
make
know
words anymore.
Melted down over here.
Yeah, I'm having a heart attack. Yeah, it didn't really make any sense. And it's like, when there's that many problems, I know that there's people who liked it. I know there's people who really did like it, and it's hard for me to tell them that they're wrong. But there were so many logistical problems in inconsistent plots, things that didn't make sense, that I couldn't even get to the point where I could value whether or not they were good actors or whether or not the costume design was good, as it was just such a badly put together movie.
Yeah. I was like, but I am excited though for another movie that is coming to HBO Max, and that's Godzilla vs. King Kong.
Oh,
Dude.
that's full circle. As we're going back to the AMC stars. All right.
Yeah. I was like, I had to get the taste of Wonder Woman 84 out of my mouth, and there's nothing better than giant walking nuclear power plant versus monkey.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of those memes where it's like, how is this even a competition? You have a dinosaur that breathes radioactive fire versus a bit monkey.
Well, apparently, they give Big Monkey like some fucking Ragnarok fucking axe like to fight Godzilla with.
I'm all for it. I like monster movies, but I also loved Godzilla Monsters, or whatever the last one was.
Yeah.
I just love giant ass monsters fighting each other. So I don't give a fuck like the plot of this movie. I just want to see Tokyo get destroyed. Like Pacific Rim, was awesome. I just want to see some of that shit,
Dude, and nothing made my dick harder than when people like dissected the trailer and showed that we're gonna get Mechagodzilla finally.
So I saw like people talking about that. I mean, I figured that was the setup at the end of Monsters.
That's like what I was hoping to see was that they in the King of Monsters. I thought like maybe they'd like roll out like a schematic or something that's like the blueprint for Mechagodzilla, because that's like their weapon against Godzilla.
I think I saw like at the end was like the people who are bioengineering or whatever. There is like Edora's severed head, like the one that doesn't roll back or whatever.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe we would have like Ghidorah.
That's what I thought was going to happen too.
Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen. So maybe we're not going to get Godzilla, as I know people. I think I saw someone say like the reason why they're fighting is because it's not really Godzilla, it's Godzilla, and like so it somehow makes sense. I don't think that it's that complicated, guys. I think it's literally just like giant Godzilla, giant Han fight each other.
Well, it's like, so my guess, because they dissected the trailer and they showed it two separate parts. They showed one where it looks like in the background is like the almost like a Pacific Rim style like Jaeger whatever shit, but it's like Godzilla's body. So they showed that, and then there was a scene like a still frame where it showed like a crowd scene like running, and you can see the underhead part of like Mechagodzilla like rising above like the fucking city and stuff. So those were like in the trailer, I guess, that people like freeze framed out of it. So
I'm gonna look this up. I want to see the freeze frames.
Yeah, you look at it.
I'll look at it. I'll do it.
But my general like theory on like what's basically gonna happen is there's the girl who talks to Kong or whatever. Yeah. I'm assuming some shit's gonna like happen like with her, and then like Kong's basically trying to protect her, but like Godzilla is like also kind of trying to protect her, but like Kong like sees him as like a threat. So then it's like they end up fighting, and then there's some like third thing that like basically causes them to like work together or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I mean that's always how it is, right?
Yeah,
like
or the team up, the typical comic book team up format and stuff.
Yeah, but I think remember what was it, Jurassic World, where it was like oh the T-Rex and the Velociraptors have to team up to take down the new dinosaur, and then fucking Megalodon comes out of the water from the fucking top rope with the steel chair and fucking fucks them up. Like that shit's fun,
Yeah, I'm like assuming basically they want Godzilla to check Kong, and then it's like, okay, he checks Kong, and they're like, now we're gonna bust out Mechagodzilla to check Godzilla.
Yeah, and they team up. Well, here's the thing, like in my mind, I just figured that at the end of King of Monsters, they established the rules that if one, either you bend the knee to the King or you challenge the King. So that's what I just figured Kong was gonna show up and Godzilla was gonna be like, "Oh fuck, a threat to my throne, fuck you." The little Earl probably dies, and Han ends up, like there'll be a moment where Han, gets fucked up. He has to go back to his home, find the axe, realize that this was his father's battle all along. Shows up, fucks up Godzilla, and then there'll be some Ghidorah or some mutant Ghidorah comes back and is like, "Oh shit, we gotta team up. We gotta have two rulers. We'll be fine after this. You stay on your side of the planet. I'll stay on mine."
Yep, you can be king of Skull Island, then I'll be king of everywhere else.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's like some Namor shit where it's like, you can rule this land and I'll rule the entire ocean.
But yeah, I'm like super stoked for that. We just recently watched Skull Island and King of Monsters again and stuff after the reveal trailer.
I want to. The first time I saw Skull Island, I did not like it. I thought it was like too funny. Like there were like too many jokes. Too much of the plot had nothing to do with Han. So maybe if I watch it again, I'll appreciate it more. But yeah, I remember not really liking it. But also, I like Godzilla a lot more than Han.
Well, yeah. As well you should.
Yeah, I mean, I saw another thing on Twitter that was like, all right, you have this Godzilla creature that's fought in like 27 movies, fought shit up every time, and then you have Han, who literally gets friend zoned by Earl, gets sad and dies. Like, that's who's fighting right now.
Place your bets.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, bro. But no, that should be really cool, and I think I might actually go to the theaters. Like I have not been since all this stuff has started. I think the last movie I saw in theaters was Birds of Prey. So it's gonna be very weird. It's gonna be a very weird experience, I think, if I'm trapped in a room with people. Like I'm hoping no one else shows up.
Yeah, I mean, just make sure you wear your mask, unlike Tanner.
Dude, apparently you have to wear 2 masks now. Super fucking viruses.
Oh man, dude. I was like, speaking of, well, no, I was gonna say speaking of viruses, but I guess not really. I lost. In other news for this year, I lost my big toenail.
Like, yeah, that's happened a couple times for me.
Like the entire nail?
Yeah. I've had to rip them off as they've gone black sometimes.
God.
I mean, I don't know what you did. Did you drop a hammer on it or something?
Well, me and Matt went to some like hoity-toity like spa in Scottsdale, and I walked into the sauna room, and I went like full speed and basically kicked like a concrete wall, and I like knew immediately, like I was like, yeah, I'm gonna, and like there was like blood under the nail. I'm like, yep, I'm gonna lose it, and then slowly like that happened in like December. Or no, that happened around October, and then it was like I had a dead nail for like the longest time, and then a couple weeks ago when I was taking a shower, it was it was so lifted on the one side you could like look under, and I was just like, yeah, it's time for it to come on.
Well, let's just get this fucking thing out of here.
Yeah.
I mean, I do a lot of hiking, and I used to do a lot of running, and so your toenails just get fucked all the time. Like you get Yeah, just that, and the thing is, I think once it happens once, it's gonna happen again. Like my one of my toes on my right foot, I think that bit toe has come off like 3 times.
Oh, God damn, dude.
Yeah.
I know. I told Megan for Valentine's Day I was going to file my nail into a little heart, and then so you could like wear it like a necklace, so a little piece of me wherever you go.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, except I had to use the nail clippers to just clip the nail off, so I didn't get like the full nail off the toe.
Oh
like
man, yeah, rip it so that it bleeds some more. Like take some skin with it.
Fuck no.
Well, on that note, I'm very hungry now.
Yeah, after the toe story is what really did it over.
It builds an appetite, really. So I think I'm gonna go eat. I don't know if you want to wrap this up.
Yes, we can wrap it up. You want to promote your podcast?
Yeah, sure. I've done 2 episodes today. Actually, I'm really excited. For the first time, I've done like this like sort of this series of stories. So like Nick Spencer. So I do a podcast called Homicide Atrocity. I do basically really terrible retellings of stories. So like when we were talking about WandaVision earlier, there's a House of M. You can hear me do a terrible job telling you what happens in House of M so that you don't have to read it. But right now, what I'm doing is I'm in the middle of Nick Spencer's Captain America run, and it starts with the Sam Wilson Captain America. And I wanted to do that before the Falcon and Winter Soldier comes out because you have to be, convinced that the only run that ever has Sam Wilson as Captain America will be heavily influenced for that show. But what's cool is it then goes into this whole like standoff weird thing where Shield has like uses the cosmic cube to manipulate people into thinking that they're not who they are in this like Pleasantville Leave It to Beavertown. I don't know, sounds familiar, kind of like WandaVision. And then it goes into the Hail Hydra Captain America, which I haven't done that episode yet, but I'm very excited for it, as I think it's one of the best Captain America runs of all time. So that's what I'm currently doing. If you're interested, you should check it out.
Yeah, I definitely. I'm behind on your podcast. I've been trying to go back and catch up and stuff. Like I think like a week or so ago, I listened to the Brian Azzarello's Joker.
Oh yeah,
episode and stuff, and then the King the Conqueror one I think is the last one that I listened to.
Yeah, that one's if you're interested in Ant-Man 3, like it's good because King the Conqueror makes almost absolutely no sense, and I spent way longer than anyone should finding out what this character is, like where he's from and all this stuff. So you are prime to go into Ant-Man 3 probably with absolutely no important evidence whatsoever or information.
And then they're not even gonna like use King the Conqueror. They're just gonna do something else just to fuck with you.
Yeah, why not?
But thank you guys for listening. I appreciate having Troy on for the first episode of 2021. It was a pleasure to shoot the shit about Wall Street and WandaVision and Wonder Woman, the 3 Ws.
Yeah.
I've been releasing some new like opening magic card videos and stuff on my YouTube channel. If you want to check that out, I should have gotten more magic cards today, but I had to fucking work late, and the card shop closes at 7, so I have to go pick it up tomorrow instead. But I just released a new video, what is today, which is the 29th. So if you want to go on, you could check that out, and then I'm sure I'll film more this weekend and have those up in the following week to come. And Troy, you why don't you tell us a sexy joke to take us out?
I don't have sexy jokes. I don't know what you're talking about.